Hello friends, I'm the Reverend Terry Peterson, minister of St. John's in Guruk. Today is Tuesday, the 9th of March, and it is the 18th day in the season of Lent. So it is time for the 18th object of our season, and today that object is what in the US we would call a band-aid, which is a brand name, but here we call a plaster. So this is a sort of bandage that's sort of self-adhesive. You stick it over if you've got a cut or something on your skin, and it makes it better. Now, I used to think band-aids were required for healing because they had some sort of healing properties in themselves, but of course that's not exactly how they work, right? A band-aid or a plaster is just a bandage. It doesn't actually do anything in and of itself. What it does is it covers a wound and makes it possible, then it's protecting it, making a space where healing can occur. So the band-aid's not healing. The band-aid is creating the environment for healing by protecting your broken skin so that it can't get dirty and things can't get in it, and if you need to put some sort of ointment on it or cream or whatever, it might keep it in place rather than rubbing off whenever you touch something. But that's what it's for, is to create an environment for healing by covering something that is broken in order to protect it from dirt and danger and germs and things like that. So I was thinking about how it is that healing happens in our own lives, not necessarily physical healing, because I think, first of all, that is a mystery beyond me, though many scientists and doctors understand those things, but more in a sort of spiritual sense. How are we healed from our brokenness? And I realized that one of the ways is that God sort of covers the broken part and makes space for healing to occur. It might take time, but in that protected place where our brokenness is cared for, then it can also be healed. So then I was thinking about two different verses. One is from Psalm 32, that says, this is verse 1, "Happy are those whose transgression is forgiven, whose sin is covered." And I always have thought about that as being like God covered it up, like to hide it or something. But of course we can't hide anything from God, so that must not be what that means. But it might mean covered like with a plaster, right? When our sin is covered in a protected healing space, then it can be healed and made new. And so we might still have a scar when it's time to take the plaster off, but our sin is healed in that way, in a protected space. The other one I was thinking about is from Proverbs, and most of the book of Proverbs is hard to read because it's basically a bunch of one-liners, right? It's got these little pithy sayings, but they're all in a row, and some of them aren't related to the ones that are right around them. So it's not as if you can read it in sort of paragraphs like a story. So this one line from Proverbs chapter 10 says, "Hatred stirs up strife, but love covers all offenses." Hatred stirs up strife, but love covers all offenses. And I think that's a little bit like a plaster. Love is a bit like a plaster in that way. Hatred is the thing that gets into the wound and makes it fester, right? It is irritated and it causes infection. It stirs up things that aren't meant to be there. But love covers it, which is not to say that it erases it, not to say that love is the sort of panacea that will instantly solve all our problems, but it is a bit like a plaster, something that can cover over a transgression and make space for healing. So when those broken places are covered with love, then healing is possible. If they're covered with hatred or shame, or if they're continually ripped open, then no healing is possible. So that's, I think, a bit what a plaster is like. So next time you need one, I hope you'll think of it as creating a healing space, covering some part of your body that's in need of a little help with love that makes for wholeness, and that we will also realize in our relationships and in our own lives that the brokenness that we carry can be healed if it's given the right environment. So let's work on recognizing that environment and creating it with love in ourselves and in our families and in our community. So that's my thought for day 18. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Until then, peace be with you.